When you arrive at a scene, do you struggle to find a composition? Because if you do, then I've got the tip that you need. Hello and welcome to another video. So we've all been guilty of this. We turn up at a scene, we take a photo, and then we get home, we put it on the computer, and then we criticise the hell out of it. Why do we do that? I do not know. It's just something we do. So that's the big tip that I want you to take away from this, and that is don't show up at a scene, take a photo, go home and criticise it. Maximise your learning by taking 15, 20 photos, and then get home and criticise 15 or 20, and you've just increased your learning by 15 or 20%. Walk around the scene, take different angles, you know, move the camera up and down. Don't worry about the exposures and all those bits. Maybe whack it in auto just to save you having to think about that, but just move the camera around more. Take loads of different scenes and then loads of different photos, sorry, and then when you get back home, load them up on the computer. Then you've got a lot of different angles that you can look at, and you can see for yourself what you find distracting in the image, or what you think would look better, or what you think would have been better if, like, say for example, you'd have come down lower, or if you'd have gone higher, or if you'd have moved a couple of twigs out of the frame. All those little things are going to help the next time you turn up on a scene and you see some twigs on the side that you think, well, the last time I wanted them moved, move them out of the way. And you're going to learn composition skills a lot quicker, because there's going to be a lot of images that you can choose from, and you can work out which ones are the best, which ones work better, which ones don't. And if you do that before you start taking your proper photos, so take your 15, 20 photos, and then maybe set your shot up that you want and take the photo that you want. You know, don't come away with just a load of random images to get the image you want. But the next time you come out, you'll have the knowledge of all that stuff that you've learned from those photos. Just to show you where we are, we're at a place called Believer Tor. Just have a little scan around, middle of Dartmoor. So down here somewhere, I think there's a little tour called Laughing Tour. Not sure what's funny about it, but just up here you can see Post Bridge, and then over the back of that, down over the other side, quite a little way, is Greyweathers, and that's where I did my Stone Circle video, and if you haven't seen that, I'll pop it up in the corner if you're interested. Yeah, beautiful view. So I'm about a mile and a half from the car, so the way I walked, show you where I walked to, is there's like a little stone wall that goes all the way around here. I walked around the whole circumference of this wall, and it goes all the way down, and the car is parked about I think it's about here somewhere. So yeah, it's about a mile and a half trek to get here. So yeah, happy days. So this is the perfect example of what I'm talking about. Moving around, so by coming lower, we've lifted the tree above the horizon to give it some separation. directly above it. So what I'm just going to do, I'm going to come round, just show you the different angles, like so. So it's just a case of finding a composition that you're happy with. I quite like this angle. It's almost very minimalistic. Just about getting the right framing. And then the right angles there. What I'm doing is I'm using the rock as much as I can as a foreground element. A bit of leaves in that one, whatever that is. So this is where I'll pop these images up on the screen and you can have a look at them and I'll show you what I mean, because sometimes just moving around presents itself with a different, completely different image. And you could end up with a picture that you wasn't expecting. This approach will help you with that practice side, and it's getting into the habit of taking multiple photos at the same location and then analysing them and seeing what you like and don't like. Because ultimately, as a photographer, your vision, if you like, of what you see when you take that photo is what makes that photo good. If you take a photo with a tree coming out of someone's head and somebody else doesn't like it, that doesn't make it any less of a good photo. It's what you want and what you intended. If you get it by accident, that's fantastic and it turns out to be a great photo, but you want to be able to reproduce what your style is. So you've probably heard it all before, 101 tips on how to improve your composition, etc, etc. But I personally think this one tip is going to make your learning process a lot faster, because you are taking multiple photos and you're coming back to your editing software and you're analyzing each photo, then you're using your crop tool to bring in new compositions from that image. So not only are you getting the experience out in the field, you're also getting experience with cropping images and finding new compositions within that. And I think that's going to help you pull out compositions. And when you're out in the field in future, you're going to be able to see those compositions because you're so used to getting in, looking at things in different ways and maybe using a crop tool to crop the image down so you can actually get a better image. Cropping in is the equivalent of changing focal length. So you're looking at something, so say for example, in the background here, you can see all these trees. Just above the trees there, you've got a load of rocks on the horizon. So if I'm in my editing suite and I crop in on those rocks on the horizon with the trees and frame that as a 6x9 or something, you're going to effectively change the focal length of that image because you're cropping in so tight. So when you're out in the field, you're going to look at things in that way and you're going to go, well, that's going to be good as a crop if I can get in there. So rather than using my wide angle lens, I'm going to stick on my 300mm lens and get right tight to it and get the actual image so you get the maximum pixels and maximum depth of field and all those little things that you get with bigger lenses. So that's it for this video. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching. I really do appreciate that. Hopefully you'll get something out of the cropping technique that I use, and if the video was useful, please do consider giving it a thumbs up, and I will catch you on the next one.